What's up, everybody? My name is Sean.
I'm Steven.
Welcome back to Descrit Studios. How's your day been?
Pretty good, man. What have you been up to? I didn't see you today, man.
You know, I had to deal with some other things, and then now we're here. We're here. How's studio?
It's coming to an end finally, so it's pretty interesting that it just went so fast because we just started the podcast and then it felt like we just did episode 1 and just like that we're almost done with the quarter, you know. But it's coming to an end in a good way because everything is falling in line where it's supposed to be. Except that I didn't see you today, man. So I was a bit thrown off.
Yeah, I just needed some space. Just needed some space, and I had to rethink about some things.
Yeah. So then, like in a typical week, right? They work us a lot: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which are typical days for studio. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays we have our like elective classes.
Yeah.
Which also sometimes involve a lot of coursework. So by Friday we're a little bit beat, you know. So how do you deal with like after having such a long day or week? How do you wind down?
Sometimes, if I feel like I deserve it, I'll just go out, have a nice little meal, or I go get ice cream.
By yourself?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people find that weird. I'm like that too, right? I remember somebody had texted me when I was in undergrad. They were like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "I'm eating a pho soup." And they're like, "By yourself?" Yeah. And then they just put a bunch of laughing emojis.
Yeah, not a lot of, I don't know. I mean, I understand it. Not a lot of people can be alone. Yeah. Sometimes a long day, long week, I just want to eat in peace, just relax. That's about it.
Yeah, I feel that. But what else do you do? Like, how are you able to calm down? Because you know how it is. Like, we're on work mode throughout the whole week and sometimes the weekend, right? So like, it's to me, it's almost not possible. Like, there's days where I just come and I automatically know to just go straight to my computer room and I just work.
Oh no, yeah,
right,
dude. Like, it's probably me like resting. Probably trying not to think about anything for 2 hours. After that 2 hours, just go mode after that.
Yeah. You know how I was able to stay like healthy throughout the process is that despite, you know, the busy schedule, I always give myself at least 1 hour to work out. Like you got to take care of you, man, most importantly, because health is everything and your mental well-being is worth more than any project, in my opinion. Because those people, you know, they're not gonna come visit you at the hospital if something happens to you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm taking care of me all the time.
That's good. I usually do that, but you know, this week been caught up with a lot of things, so now I've been kind of slacking on that a little bit. Yeah. But right now it's just go mode for final. Gotta get everything ready.
Yeah. You know, on Fridays is when I also wind down, and one of my favorite things to eat here, because there aren't that many options, is this yellowtail kama, man. That thing is delicious. So do you treat yourself like that, or you're still buying Little Caesars pizza?
Hey, just because you saw me eat one bag thing doesn't mean I eat that all the time.
Right. So what do you do? How do you treat yourself? What do you
do? Like I usually go to ice cream shop.
Right.
Just chill there.
But food?
Food? Sometimes, but very rarely. I only get food if I'm like for emergency, like I just need to spend something. But
why? Is that just because you like to hold on to your money for dear life? Why is it?
I prioritize food somewhere last on when I'm spending it.
They've done studies, you know. 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
I prioritize food last. Come on, Sean. You need to take care of you.
I can cook at home.
Oh, got it. But so what do you cook?
Yeah, I just cook steak, chicken. That's about it.
A good like what tomahawk steak?
Nah, I don't got. I ain't. I mean, I could buy that, but I ain't trying to be broke.
Yeah, right on. So one of the questions that we got here is: do you prefer hand sketching or using computer software for initial design concepts?
I used to do hand sketching. I think it's very situational. I've definitely done it where I've only done hand sketching, like all the way through, and then there are projects where I've only done digital from start to finish. But
What did you like better?
I think I use both now, but very lightly in sketching now. I don't really sketch as much anymore because I can just do it digitally very faster.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I do need to sketch it out because I just need the rough figure to figure out things. But after that, throw everything digitally because now I'm more time efficient. Since I'm doing a lot more things now, I just need more time efficient. So I just throw everything digital. I would prefer to do more hand, but that just takes time.
For initial design concept though,
Yeah, I'll do hand if I can, but uh, like I said, I just want to save more time, so I just
hmm
might as well throw everything digital.
yeah, I like to. I used to like being digital first. Used to like using digital first and ride with it to the end. But now I'm really embracing the whole hand design for the initial concept because like you can find yourself for a long time on the computer going back and forth with geometries, and then you're just not content with it, and before you know it, you spend 3 4 hours already, you know. So with the hand, at least you're able to just cut the trace and continue and move on, and it's been working for me this term, you know, greatly because I've saved a lot of time. But I guess that depends on the on the user, because maybe you're not comfortable with your hand sketching. That's probably why you like the digital, and you're trying to save time. But at the same time, like, you appreciate hand sketches sometimes because of the line hierarchy and the simplicity of it, because it still tells a story when you look at it. And so I just been enjoying it ever since the Istanbul trip. There was days that we would walk around, and then they would tell us, you know, go take some hand sketch exercises, and go around town, enjoy your lunch break, and draw. And I drew a lot there, and I enjoyed doing that. And now, to save time and to get my idea across, it helps me with the initial concepts, and then I move on to a software. So that's my strategy. And I've seen a lot of people currently, they do what you do, is they like going to Rhino right away and CAD because of time, but it just looks too like static, man. It looks too like everybody does that.
That's why I throw renderings real quick render models.
But the render models haven't hurt you yet, because sometimes they like, I've gotten
Not
like,
yet.
yeah, because I've gotten like, oh, this looks like it's done already, and it could use this, it could use that,
Well,
and
that's
you're
why you gotta build it just a snippet. Like you don't like you just take a corner of something, a building or whatever.
hmm
Like my landscape one, I just literally took like a small chunk and just showed a small area,
yeah, that was good. That was
and then I
good.
just show a wall backdrop, just a white block, just covering it.
hmm
I think if you show everything, that's where it can get dangerous. But if you just show like tiny render right there, I think that's a good. It works out for me so far.
Yeah. So next question, moving on. Do you have a favorite architect or designer whose work inspires you?
Mm, I like Kenga Kuma. I like the way
King Okuma? Or how do you spell his name?
I
It's
okay.
King, like Keng.
I don't know. I
Where's
have
he
to
from?
Japan.
Okay.
I have to write it. I can't spell it in my head.
Okay. How did you hear about him?
Uh, I think my second year because we had to do a mass timber. I think we had to do some kind of woodworking for one of our studios. And I just accidentally stumbled upon him. But he does a lot of like parametric design. but with wood, and he's able to create like these interesting spaces with that. I like looking at his stuff.
Throughout this time here, I've only seen that there's been one professor who has embraced parametric design, and as you've already stumbled upon, there's a lot of professors who are against it. Why do you think they're against parametric design?
Uh, Unrealistic. I'm pretty sure. That's what I'm assuming.
But doesn't BR Kingos do some parametric stuff? And I'm sure there's other architects who do it
I mean,
successfully.
there are parametric stuff. It's just like I think it's so new that it's like kind of iffy still.
Like it's not ready
It's not ready to
put
be
out,
to be seen to the world yet. Basically,
but it looks really nice, huh?
that's all I'm trying to do.
Maybe you could express that in the interior, right? Like a interior parametric design. I've seen it in stairs. This architect by the name of Dan Brunn in Los Angeles, he did a stair, and it looked like if it's closing in, kind of like Mad Hatter's
Okay.
world.
It's funny you say that. You know that book we looked at earlier?
Mhm.
One of the pages I marked actually focuses on the stairs. I was just gonna do some kind of like biophilia parametric design just on the corners.
Yeah,
Just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I show on Monday.
yeah. Well, my favorite like architect that inspires me a lot and that I enjoy looking at his work. He doesn't have a lot of work, but it's the work that he does have is extremely beautiful. So, and his name is Kendrick Bangs Kellogg, and he did this beautiful temple in Japan where it looked like a domino effect from the outside, but the inside has like a bunch of.
Hmm.
Have
I
you
think
seen it?
I might have. I think the way you're explaining it, I think I might have seen it.
Yeah, and then he did a custom home in California in the desert, and he just created like these concrete ceilings and just made everything look extremely natural, like a fossil town. And he did the furniture, he did everything, and the home is for sale right now, but it is just very different than what you've already seen. So it's called like organic architecture if it had a category. And that's what I appreciate because everything else is really a block or rectangle if you look at it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen his work when he starts. He he starts laying concrete down and he starts bulldozing the dirt and he goes under the structure that he built.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So in 2000 2010 um is when I heard about him, and there was an opportunity where he came in the class and we were talking about him, and one of the students started sharing pictures of him working with him, and I'll probably post it up of how he does his structures so that that then you'll see the arch in the air, suspended concrete. And it's pretty beautiful. You want to read the next question?
Yeah, yeah. What's the most valuable piece of advice you've received from a professor or a mentor?
I have one. You want to go first?
You go first. I need a.
I was just talking to my older brother yesterday, and the topic came because um, it the this has always existed, right? Where people always want to get paid a lot of money even though they don't have experience. Um, and it's always the people who have experience that are always with the low wages, and they work their way every year, for that dollar, 25-cent raise, whatever it is. But then the newbie, the inexperienced person comes and he wants to make more than the person who's been there for years and has their own tools and all that. So one of the workers asked them, like, what advice can you give me so that I can have a better job and be in a better spot, something along those lines. And you probably heard this before, right? But it just made much more sense yesterday to me. um it just clicked a bunch of things in my mind when he said that. But he told the person seeking advice from my brother that there's no shortcuts to success.
No.
There's
Yeah.
no shortcuts to success,
Just
right?
hard,
It's
long
hard.
work.
Yeah, because even us, right, in school, you could only take so many units per quarter, no matter how fast you want to go. And it's hard. It's just so like heavy loaded with work. So even in that example, we see that you can't take shortcuts, right? And then along the way, some people switch majors
Yeah.
or just give up. So that was probably one of the most memorable things that actually make a lot of sense. And I just recently was refreshed by it yesterday. But what about you?
This one visiting professor told me and this other friend, but he told me like I should go do what I enjoy most about because it's easier to create things when you're more passionate about things. And he was like telling me how I should switch majors into product design earlier because he was saying like architecture's too book by book for me, but I'm too openly creative on what I want to be making. Which is he's right now.
He wasn't lying.
No, yeah, he definitely knew like how definitely knew what people were good at and what some people switched.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
one person I know dropped architecture and went into graphic design instead.
Yeah, he had a very special like aura about him, huh? Like he definitely impacted a lot of people with what his 2 cent about things. And I remember him, bumping into him too, and he always kept telling me like, I don't know why you're here, and then I would hear him tell other people like, I don't know why you're here. You shouldn't be wasting your time in school. You have the experience. You should move on with life because this is dumb. And so I asked him one time like, hey man, why is it that you like touching these students' lives? Like, because as you're aware, like we see a lot of professors and not many of them care to talk to us, right? They don't even know you. And you've been here 5 years, and that says something there. And this guy came and he was only here for a short period and he
Yeah,
impacted a lot of people's lives,
he did.
and a lot of people found their true passion because like you, he saw that you didn't want to be here and he put an end to it sooner than later, and now you see him happy, like the football player that we knew that came on the scholarship. And he said, hey, thank you very much for the scholarship. I don't want it. I'm gonna
Oh
go do
god.
architecture full time.
We both of us definitely made a bad mistake, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
but it was definitely a memorable experience to come to cross paths with that professor because he was a solid individual. He is. I still keep in communication with him and in contact with him. What about you?
No, he gave me his number and email, but I
You
haven't
didn't follow through?
yeah, haven't reached out. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is, what is your favorite architectural software tool and why?
Rhino 8 in twin motion.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. How come? Why not Revit?
Too late for me to learn right now. And I'm never gonna use Revit if I'm going into product design. So I might
Yeah,
as well use a software that's like more 3D freeform.
yeah, and it makes sense for product design. Absolutely.
So I was gonna learn. I learned Revit. I know the basics right now, but like I was gonna learn it. But then I was like, if I ain't doing architecture, there's no point in me learning this program. It's
Hmm.
just gonna dust away if I go into product design.
Yeah, I like Revit. I really like Revit, and
I'm not
I.
hating on Revit. I think Revit is a great program for architecture.
But I always hear that. Like, I'm not saying because of you, but I always hear like the Rhino fans who don't know Revit hate on Revit.
I don't know.
I don't get that from you, but I know when someone says that because they don't know Revit, right? But once they know Revit, the Rhino users like I was wasting my time for a long time in Rhino. But to each his own, right? Like they're both good softwares to
I
know.
think Revit's good if you have a cookie cutter or like a box kind of dealio. you want to go more free form, you're gonna need to use Rhino. I know one person in our class. He's really good at Rhino, but when you try to do free form stuff on Revit, it doesn't really work out.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. You use it a lot. What do you think? Like trying to do
Yeah,
not box shaped is kind of harder, isn't it?
yeah, it is. But because I didn't want to invest time in Rhino, I figured out how to do all those things in Revit, so I could do those things in Revit. Because I invested a bunch of hours in tutorials and
Same with whatever you could do in Revit. I can do whatever I can do in Rhino
yeah,
also.
exactly. So that's the thing, right? You have to invest the time in whatever software you prefer because it's really what you feel most comfortable with. Because in undergrad, I had a friend who was really good in Rhino, and he was teaching me, and then I just I it kind of feels like AutoCAD to
What,
me.
Rhino?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, because it's just like for Revit, you get a
Really?
door, you put it in, and it cuts the wall to what is standard of a door dimension.
I
So
think
it,
AutoCAD and Revit are together. The only downside is AutoCAD can't do 3D.
yeah, right,
At least from what I know so far. I don't know, it
yeah,
could change now, but I haven't touched AutoCAD since like freshman year.
yeah, yeah. I don't, but AutoCAD is still a thing, man. Like that's what they're using at landscape architecture firms. But most architecture firms here are using Revit. But landscape architecture at the firm I was at, they were using SketchUp and AutoCAD, which just takes too long, man. But I understand.
Another thing I like about Rhino is if I have to edit lines or do Photoshop stuff, I could do that all on Rhino just to get something out there quickly
Yeah.
instead of like throwing it into Photoshop or Illustrator to change.
What do you mean?
Well, like if I want to look like you know how when you cut a floor plan, you have to hatch all the walls
Yeah.
to like fill in. I can do that on Rhino. Or if I want to Photoshop a background of a person behind, I could also quickly do that in Rhino too. I mean, it's gonna look rough, but it'll get the job done.
I've never seen that. I would like to see. Does it look pretty good though? Like you could get away with it?
To present something quick, not for like midterm final ready, but like
Like Descrit.
desk crit. Like if you have nothing, but you don't want to move it all in there, just quickly do that in Rhino real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never done that, but you did give me a library with a bunch of stuff for.
Oh, that library is an absolute gold
It
mine
is.
for Rhino users.
And I've noticed that, like for competitions, rhinos use more, right? From what it seems like,
This is more freeform.
it's more freeform, but it's just clean. It's just simple, and then it seems like they throw it in Illustrator, and then they do all the diagramming stuff.
Yeah, I
in there.
mean that's what I'm saying. Like you can just get the simple outline on Rhino and just make it look good in Illustrator or Photoshop.
Mhm.
I don't know. I never exported stuff out of Revit, so I'm not entirely sure what that workflow. I'm assuming it's the same, but
Yeah,
Revit just has more detailed stuff.
yeah. It's very beneficial for architecture. I like it. It makes my job go a lot more faster. Next question: how do you see the role of architecture evolving in the next decade?
Parametric design.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
it's basically I don't know. I mean, it's starting to hit more commercial buildings, so I'm assuming, and I feel like that style is kind of like it can look organic. So it's start. I mean, the new science building, it has those like
Yeah.
shades. They're all like. I forgot. It was actually supposed to make something. I don't remember what it was, but that's like what the styles are starting to coming out.
Hmm. But you know what else I see is the AI stuff, right? In architecture, how they can make you more proficient in your work and be a lot more faster. Because I've seen a lot of students whip out an idea quickly with
Yeah.
this AI as opposed to like using Photoshop to put things in order and then putting the
I
building.
mean, even Photoshop has the AI
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I mean, at this point, you don't even need to know how to use Photoshop.
exactly, right? So is that good or bad for the future?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's okay for what it can do right now, but I don't know. It's definitely more for like people who not on the creative side, I think, or just need to get something quickly done.
Yeah, you know how I feel about it is like I'm sure that the architects, you know, in the 80s and 70s, they were doing the hand stuff and then came AutoCAD, right? And then while they were on their way out, they were probably being introduced to this Rhino and Revit, and they're like, nah, that's too complicated and wait till the world and it's going to crash or whatever, right? All the cons of it. But we see how it benefited students like us, right? Otherwise, we'll be still doing late nights hand drawing
I
because
remember
that
those
takes
nights.
time, man. Remember those nights?
Yeah, you know me. I did hand drawing for 4 years,
Yeah,
all the way.
no,
No poster, no nothing.
yeah, that was so time consuming. But thanks to Revit and these other softwares, they speed up the process. So I think it'll be for the good, man. It's just we're scared of it now, because you it really it takes away the creativity almost, right? But if you look at it in the positive sense, it takes out the creativity. It gives you the creativity quicker than what you could have spent looking at other
Yeah.
precedents and stuff. Because, for example, I was preparing my portfolio and for the year two work that I've done, and one of the drawings that I had done a render on Lumion, and then I threw it in Photoshop to add more details and other effects to the render, but I forgot to add stuff to the foreground. And then I used the AI thing and I put, green courtyard with green shrubs. And it gave me a very, very like interesting, um, creative design that was in my mind, but it did it better. And I'm like, yeah, let's roll with it. And it saved me a bunch of time. So I think it'll be good. Have you used it yet?
For what?
Like Photoshop or Illustrator?
Yeah, to put people.
The AI?
People or take out stuff, yeah. Just put people though.
For
because I don't have any like the JPEGs that everyone's been collecting over the years.
right.
I have all the Rhino stuff, but they're just line work people and not like
Color.
real looking people.
Yeah.
I haven't used it that much yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also not in the phase where we need it.
Yeah. So you think it'll be for the good, no?
I like it.
Good.
I mean, I took the furniture AI class. I mean, we had to base our furniture off of using AI.
The one that I saw your review, the chair?
Yeah, that chair is there. I have an AI picture that looks exactly the same form.
Oh, dang. That's interesting. So then the other students used it as well.
Yeah, you have to make whatever the AI makes.
So give me an example, like for.
I typed in for my chair, minimalistic, geometric, simple, wooden chair. I just keep running that one, or I'd add more like adjectives like elegant, or I want a black chair, or yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. So see, it helped out with speeding up the process, right?
Well, we kind of had to use that was our main like precedent. You have to use that.
That's pretty creative. That's good.
But it was fun, like just whipping out like hundreds of renders, just like.
But these renders haven't been done before. Like they're templates, or they're like you can go with the idea and know that no one else has done it.
Probably, or someone else might have. I don't know. I don't know how the filing works for AI, but
yeah.
I know that if you upgrade, you can. What is it? Whatever you input in, it'll be privately. It won't go to their server, so only you have that. but for like the semi-paid ones, it'll go into the server. So someone could have the other picture of whatever it rendered, but
that's why you got to keep adding layers to it, right? So that way it's different. Otherwise, you took the template and just ran with it. So you want to add anything else?
I don't know.
So the next question is, how do you incorporate storytelling into your architectural designs?
I think you need a strong goal concept so you can always keep tying that back. And then I think you also need a good, like, reasoning for your design. But I think goal and reasoning for your design is the main one for me, because I know when I did the Rome, I think my Rome studio was probably my most successful like speech I ever gave, just because I kickstarted it with 4 goals and just went down the list of each design goal, and then I got like a lot of compliments for that. They're like, yeah, it's easy to like tell where you're going. You hit all the marks you want to be. So I don't know. That's for me at least. I think back then I just like just say random like designs to try to like link up these drawings together and like.
So BS it along the way.
I'll get some, but I'll also lose some along the way. But I think the way I do it now is like I like to say out my goals first or questions that I ask myself, and then just answer my own questions, because then they'll be focused on the questions that you're trying to answer.
Yeah. So you're saying to say your goals and patterns from the beginning and stick with it to the end. I've seen that in other studios, and that professor that teaches that continues to teach that. And you know when a student took his class, because they continue with the goals and patterns, which is also a Christopher Alexander design principle that he focuses on teaching students to continue to develop along the way. So for me, the way I like to do the storytelling is kind of like doing a site analysis, right? And so that entails going to the place and studying the people and looking at what's around. So that way, rather than being too disruptive or gentrifying the area, it's just adding on to what's already there, so that way the community can embrace it. So like for this housing studio that I'm at, I'm focusing on the Indigenous people or First Nations group of Canada, and I'm gonna put a mural on the building, and so that way if you're walking through the promenade, you're almost provoked to see what it is. But so by the time you get close to the building, there's other layers inside the building that I'm gonna add that'll have cultural value, so that the user like me and you, if we're walking, will go inside and experience the whole architecture. And that alone will tell you a whole story of how everything came about. And so the culture will be celebrated.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right now I'm like, I had goals for studio, but right now they're going to hit or miss right now. So I need to readjust some things to see what I can do.
What are you focusing on? What's the group that you're focusing on?
Low income families. So I can do like something for children.
It's families?
Yeah. So I'm trying to focus a lot on like nature, so they can just play around. So
you're gonna have you could do the biophilic architecture there too, right?
Trying, but
yeah, that's the challenge.
So a lot of those goals right now are kind of getting blocked right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what happens from there.
Yeah. Anything else you would like to add to that?
No.
So the next question is, what do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment in your life so far, and why?
I think my first one would be getting into the program. I still remember that day. Failed 3 times, finally got on my 4th try.
It's hard, huh? It's hard to get in the program, man.
not anymore, but
Now, it used to be.
back then, yeah. But I think that was one of my greatest accomplishments because I just kept going for it, even though like, oh, denied. I'm like, man, I'm wasting a whole year just keep getting denied. I think holding on my own now is my second one. I think I learned a lot doing stuff alone. But
what do you think about the tables turning, right? Because now landscape architecture is heavily impacted, so that one's also challenging to get accepted into.
Oh yeah.
And the students are pretty good.
After hearing how they have to get accepted through, I was like, wow, that's more harder than architecture.
Yeah, but they do good work. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good work. And in the faculty that they added, it strengthens the program greatly.
I think they have very good. I think out of all three departments, I think landscape has like the best by far.
Yeah.
I think IARC is mixed. Architecture is so 50-50.
Yeah.
60-40.
Would you be in favor of landscape architecture, planning, and architecture being combined into a studio? Like,
I would love to work with architecture, IARC, and landscape.
They keep asking.
I don't know why we don't do that. Like, why can't we work with people that are like, okay, I could kind of see why.
Why?
A lot of people are stubborn.
Yeah.
And
Ego.
And don't want to work together, or they think, oh, they don't match our style. But like, I feel like that would be fun. That's also less stress on you. You don't need to worry about like that design in that department, you know? I don't know what landscape and IARC do, but architecture, we literally have to think about everything.
You know, one of the professors here that is like world renowned that teaches here, she said something in my first year when I first got here that blew my mind, and I wish it could be like, it can be said at all architecture schools, and especially coming from her, right? Because she's written a lot of sustainable architecture books and net zero books and all of that, you know, architecture that matters. And she said, if I can print a sign and put it huge when you enter this building, for all incoming students to know, it would be leave your ego at the door. You know, which is true because as you've seen already, there's a lot of students that think very highly of themselves. And if we would be able to put that principle above all things when we enter the program, we would be able to be working with landscape architects and urban planners and interior architecture. But unfortunately, that's not the case, right? That you see it how sometimes, you know, that's always a block there that exists.
I don't know. Yeah, I would really enjoy actually like working with 3 different majors trying to do one project.
Mm-hmm.
Because their skill is in that field, so I want to see how they think about things.
Yeah, because like even in I mentioned it before, like this studio that we're in, it's gonna flood, right? So we're doing architecture, but to solve and mitigate the flood issue, it's landscape architecture. So this would be and because it's a terminal, it would make sense to like bring them in and both of us work together to produce a very good, you know, well thought out project. But we need to keep raising awareness of that to the department because it'll only strengthen this program by doing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I know why, and it's that.
Is that?
Because in my undergrad, my terminal, my last like project, my thesis project, as it's called, we did it, and it was bad. It was bad. It was ego, but that architecture school is the factory of egos, man. It's people really thought highly of themselves. Like with landscape art, they would always say this. So in landscape architecture, what do you guys do? You guys just put trees, right? and it was a huge diss, man.
You know, that's what I thought too in the beginning. But after seeing like upperclassmen work, I'm like, oh, they do a lot more.
Yeah.
They do a lot more than I thought.
So like Birdman said, put some respect on my name, man, you know?
Stop playing with my name. I ain't gonna say it no more. put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on.
Because it's true, man. Like now, like people are scared to even hear about this flooding issue, and they're like, "Well, what do we do? Well, it's gonna flood. What's the point of designing?" But the landscape architect is like, "We can do it. You know, let's talk." You know, the architect with the lens, but it doesn't exist. But so the downfall to my studio was that, and I had problems with the architecture student. So it was like, it was originally 2 architects and 2 landscape architects per group. And then my group was 3 landscape architects and 1 architect. And that architect refused to meet with us because he thought we were underneath him. And so it got to the point where it got really like disrespectful. And we had to have meetings with his professor and my professor. And then they stopped it after that. So I can see that that's probably why it is. But I don't see the same dynamic here as I did over there. So it could work here. I think, you know, and...
I don't know. I think landscapes, from what I see from landscape students, everyone seems relaxed, chill, fun. Architecture students? Oh, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no. I think they're all just ready to go to war on each other.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that didn't help, you know, in my case was that it was on Zoom. It was during the Zoom era. So it just, there was no communication.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I kind of wish we worked with landscape students in our studio.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the flooding figured out, but I kind of want someone to help me design it. I have the solution to figure it out. I just don't have the design. Right now, it's kind of just looking random. It's just plotted there.
Yeah, well, you have time, right? Because it moves on to the next term. So hopefully during your break, you can still look for solutions.
No, I don't got break time on spring break.
Oh, no?
No, I just go.
Yeah.
I'm going out, so.
Oh, you're gonna put this on pause?
Yeah, I'll be in a different country.
Oh, you're leaving? Nice. You're gonna go?
I'm gonna go Singapore.
Oh, dude, that's...
I'm gonna get my precedent study from there.
Man, that's awesome, man. How long is the flight?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Long.
Yeah.
Really long. I think the longest I've ever been.
Yeah. So for my take rate with this question, Sean, like the greatest accomplishment for me so far was, you know, being able to take things lightly and not take things too seriously. And I think they have helped me so far to reach where I'm at, because I used to be like very chip on my shoulder kind of individual, right? Because I was really like, well, what are you trying to say? Kind of, you know, student, because I grew up in that type of environment, right? Like where it was clowning all the time. So it was like being on defense mode at all times, but then with humility and life, you know, teaching me a few lessons, I just learned to be calm and laugh more instead of being so serious. And it's helping me.
Yeah.
Right? So that's an accomplishment that I see a lot of people lack, because they think too highly of themselves for no reason. Because if you think about it, right, they're nobody. They're nobodies, and I'm nobody. So that I can be thinking that I could belittle you or that I'm superior than you. But that just takes, you know, a lot of humility, that if you're willing to accept, then it'll be better for you. But it's a lot for others, you know. You want to read the next question?
Yeah, what motivates you to get out of bed every morning?
You, man. You. No, I don't know. Like, what do you think? What's yours?
You know, back then, it was just for me to be successful for my own business.
Mm-hmm.
But since all the incidents that's been happening, I think I just want to work hard so that my mom can retire faster.
That's cool, man. That's cool, Sean.
But yeah, I've been no sleep recently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out other business plans.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. For me, what gets me out of the morning is just being excited, right? To finish, because you know, the promise, as I said to my mom, and my mom's not getting any younger either, you know, and I'm not getting any younger. So nobody knows what tomorrow will bring, right? And I've lost a few family members that, while I've been in school, and they were a lot younger than me, man. So with that, and just the way that life has been, it just it just scares me to like be in this battle and chapter in my life and maybe not see the end. So it motivates me to just pull through and at least know that I've been giving it my all, and it's more than rewarding for me to give me reason and motivation and wake up every day because it's fun. Like I really enjoy the program here because the professors are lenient. It doesn't mean that they're not rigorous because you see that sometimes it's a lot of busy work. Um,
Oh yeah.
but the results, I think they've been great, man. I really have been enjoying my time here. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I think I just like the hustle, the grind. I mean, I always enjoyed that, but I think for me, like I said, life is short now. I see life differently now, so like
Yeah,
I want to try to make the most out of it, whatever I can do.
yeah, absolutely, man. The next question is, how do you handle failure or setbacks in life?
Do you have an answer right now?
No, no, that's a good one.
How do I handle failure and setback? I don't know, man. That's why I think I'm so good at being alone because those times when it's dark, when you're all alone, you're the one that's gonna have to push yourself to get out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know. For me, like when I didn't get into the program, I was so bogged down. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like I didn't get in the first time, second time, third time. Third time when I didn't get in, I was like, man, should I just give up? Like I don't know. I feel like I'm wasting my time, but I feel like you just need to find that moment in you and just kick it in.
yeah, yeah. Now that you mentioned that, what came to mind was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant to me because that's somebody that I enjoyed watching play and just enjoyed watching him speak. The stuff that he would preach and follow through with, right? Like the Mamba mentality. There's one thing that sticks out to me that he said that I apply to this question, right? Is like first of all in our architecture field, how I handle failure and setbacks in life is to not take things so personal,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't, like, don't take it towards you. It's the design, it's not you as a person. So don't take it so personal. And that's one thing that Kobe says is that, like, hey, man, like, you're not that important.
How did you get mentally and emotionally so strong where it doesn't bother you?
Well, you got to look at the reality of the situation. Like for me, it's not, you kind of got to get over yourself. Like it's not about you, man. Like, okay, you feel embarrassed. You're not that important. Like, get over yourself.
That's where you go.
Get over yourself, right? Like you're worried about how people may perceive you and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself, right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen? Got it.
And that once he said it, it hit me differently, right? Because it's true. Like, I'm not much more important than you are or the next student because they also put their part in the design. And that's what they came up with, and this is what I came up with. And we both didn't have our best day or our best, pinup. But it's another, we get to see another day and to redeem ourselves, such as you did. Remember, you came unprepared on one of those days, and then for the midterm, you came with a bunch of stuff. You redeemed yourself. So you could have just gone like and let it defeat you, but you ended up using it as a motivation to get better.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you just gotta take those hits, and then the next time just learn from what you missed out and just do better on the next run.
Yeah, you have to. It's because it's a long, long run, right?
Yeah, I took a hit today.
Yeah, you took a hit.
But
But look what you said, right? Like
what
you're
is
gonna
it?
work
Monday,
on it.
I'll bring a lot to the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, because I've seen already students get defeated already, and they're like, I don't know what to do anymore, and I'm done. But then here you are, like saying, hey, I'm not going out tonight. I'm gonna do this, and then for the weekend I'm gonna freaking redeem myself. So that's good. That's good. So that's a positive thing to say to the viewers and to the student that might need to hear this.
I don't know. Stuff happens. It is what it is.
Because we're not that important, right? Like, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world.
No
like,
one's perfect.
Exactly.
And then, I don't know, just like I said, if you just learn from your mistake, I don't consider it as a failing moment.
Yeah.
It's more of an opportunity to learn and make yourself better.
And it's okay. It's okay to feel that, right? Because it's almost like the person who doesn't value his or her work, right? There's nothing worse than someone who doesn't take pride in their work. And that's why it hurts you or anyone, because you take pride in your work, and that's good. And there's nothing worse than someone who just doesn't absolutely give no crap about what they do. So that it's good that we feel that, but don't let it sink in too deep, because it's not that serious. Move on, redeem yourself.
Yeah.
And now we have our last question. If architects had their own version of the Olympics, what events would be included? Hand sketching for sure.
Model making.
Communication, right? Like being good speakers.
Yeah. Just thrown up to a stage and you just gotta run whatever design you're given.
Yeah.
See if you can sell it.
Working in teams. Because that's our world. We have to work in
that's
teams.
the most funny thing. We don't do a lot of team stuff. At least studio-wise.
Well, studio for me has been groups until now.
Yeah, I know. For me, I've only done one. And that was when I was in Italy. But that one I got... Him and I we just synced up well, so...
Yeah.
We had a good time, but... I know a lot of people hate group work. Sometimes, you have to pull more strings on yourself than them.
Yeah. The show has to go on.
That's what it is. I mean, some days you're going to have a bad partner. Some other days you're going to have a good one.
Yeah. So hand drawing, model making, communication skills, group work. What else?
I don't know. I think that's the main ones.
I feel like we're forgetting one. Craftsmanship?
No, that's where model making can come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we might have forgot one, but it's okay. But I think those are the core of the Olympics.
I want to see people do model making competition.
Yeah.
To make the fastest / cleanest.
Yeah. They're fun, but man, they break your head, because it's just sometimes you might have forgot a step and then now you're hand cutting what you forgot, right? And if it's thick wood, you're screwed, man.
Oh man, doing the the elevations that we had to do, the layering.
Yeah.
I had hand sketch out the steps. Because digitally, I could not figure, it made it way harder for me to think, wait, I need to cut this piece to layer this piece. I, drew a hand step. I'm like, okay, this piece goes first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then I was like, oh, okay, digitally, this is easy to make now.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have for today. Sean, is there anything else you would like to add?
No.
There's probably one thing I would like to add, in the end, is for the student, some of my friends who are pursuing architecture and they're still in community college, and you're almost done and I'm almost done. You're in the undergrad experience and I'm the graduate experience. What advice or motivation can you give the student who's in community college and they've gotten rejected to a university?
I don't know. Just keep going. I know it just sounds so straightforward, but I think you just gotta trust that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, there are so many dark times where I was like, man, I'm just wasting time doing this. But you just gotta find that place where you just kick it in and just go for it, no matter what. Finally got in, but
yeah,
I mean, it's worth it. I took a lot of risks. I took a lot of architecture classes my first year. where I'm like, okay, if I get in, I can accelerate. So,
Yeah, and you did. You're probably one of the only ones from your class that I know, because the other two students that we see, they're not graduating with you, right?
no,
Yeah.
because I took so many, and if I didn't get in again, those credits are useless.
Yeah.
Architecture is so specific, it won't go anywhere.
Yeah, they can't be applied anywhere else.
No.
So, and my advice to the student, that's in community college trying to get into this major is to continue to watch, videos on how to better your graphic skills, right? Because that's another thing is architectural representation in the Olympics is to increase and level up their game in architectural representation, because it's very important in our field. So if they can continue to in their downtime to stay on that, YouTube University and watch, these architecture channels that are on YouTube, to level up your game in graphics, so that way when it's time to present your portfolio, or when it's time to apply again, you're at a better spot than you were before. So never stay in the same place, otherwise you might get denied again, because the next generation is coming in better and stronger, because they have, a different world than the student applying now. So the priorities for the other students are architecture itself and nothing else. And for you, you're probably caught up in life, sorry, and so now you have a family, or you have a job, and you have your own place, and you got to maintain the rent. So your priorities shift. But always stay consistent with your graphics, and I think you would be in a good spot. And also, obviously, do well in classes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for everyone listening. And then if you guys have any questions, just DM us on our Instagram and follow us on our TikTok on Descrit Studios.
Have a good night.